While the Cricket World Cup may be currently going on and we are in the halfway point of the tournament, just yesterday night or today early morning to be precise, another World Cup ended. And it was the Rugby World Cup. Now remember, rugby as a sport is just followed by very few countries, but there are some big epic rivalries in the 120 plus years of the sport. Remember, rugby has been played predominantly in the southern hemisphere and mostly in the northern hemisphere by teams like England, Wales, in the southern hemisphere, Argentina, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand. In the 2023 Rugby World Cup, we had the epic of epic grand finals. South Africa versus New Zealand. The rivalry is so intense that even a Hollywood film was made on that, Invictus. Now, you could see Invictus too, because today South Africa have achieved the greatest sporting moment that they have ever achieved. And who knows, maybe this kind of appreciation, this kind of victory will even propel the Proteas to do well in the Cricket World Cup, because the Springboks have achieved sporting immortality. When it comes to rugby, 100 plus years of all black dominance officially is ended. You now have the Springbok era in domination, and it is only going to get better and better. They have achieved history in this World Cup, and in this video I will tell you certain numbers on which this Rugby World Cup is based on. The numbers that sum up South Africa's dominance in a way. Number 4. 4 Rugby World Cup titles for South Africa, and that makes them the greatest ever team in the history of the sport. For a very long time, the world was playing catch up to the All Blacks. South Africa just had 2, but in 2 editions, 2019 and in 2023, South Africa have overhauled it. And consider the fact they came after the collapse of apartheid in 1994 rather. They came back to the rugby fold only in 1995 and they won their first World Cup. Since then, they have won almost all the decades that has been there. 1995, they won their first tournament. 2007, they won their second tournament. 2019 and now 2023. In each and every decade, the Springboks have dominated. So with 4 titles, they have left behind the All Blacks, who still have only 3. 2. The Springboks have actually equaled the All Blacks in this remarkable feat. Remember, when New Zealand won the title in 2011 and 2015, they had become the first nation to successfully defend the Webb Ellis Trophy. That's what the trophy's name is called in rugby. But South Africa have matched them. 2019, 2023. What are the other boxes that South Africa need to tick? Maybe a better head-to-head record against the All Blacks? That could happen, because now the All Blacks era has ended. It is now the start of the Springbok era. 0. What the Proteas in cricket have always failed, that's where the Springboks have excelled. 4 Rugby World Cup finals. South Africa has never ever lost a Rugby World Cup final. 1995, 15-12, Joel Stransky's drop goal ensured that at Ellis Park in Johannesburg they had won. In 1995 against the All Blacks, 15-12. Then in 2007, they defeated England. 2019, they beat England. And again in 2023, they have beaten the All Blacks by 1 point. And that is why South Africa's achievements are far greater now. New Zealand may have won. They were the gold standard for 100 years. But now South Africa has taken over, because New Zealand have lost 2 finals, both to South Africa. 4 wins out of 10 Rugby World Cup editions. If you look at it, 1987 was held in Australia and New Zealand. 1991 was held in England. 1995 was held in South Africa. 1999 again was held in England. 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015, 2019 and now 2023. 10 editions of the Rugby World Cup have happened, and nearly half of them have been won by South Africa. 1995, 2007, 2019, 2023. New Zealand won in 1987, 2011 and 2015. Australia won it in 1991 and 1999. England, the only other team with 2003 that they had won. So only 4 nations in the history of the Rugby World Cup, ever since it was started in 1987, have won this prestigious tournament. But remember, for New Zealand, they achieved the rarest of rare. For the first time in their history, if you look at it in the professional era, one player was sent off in the final. It was their captain, Sam Cane. No All Blacks in the professional era history were ever sent off. He became the first, and what a time to do it in the final of a Rugby World Cup. The one sport where New Zealand have excelled for over 100 years. That's how huge the magnitude of this loss is for New Zealand. This picture is the ultimate disappointment because they have reached 5 finals. They have won 3. 1987 they defeated France. 2011 they defeated France again, 8-7. 2015 they defeated the Wallabies, Australia. But the remaining 2 times where they have reached the final, they have had heartbreak against South Africa. 15-12, extra time, Joel Stransky's goal ensured that they had won South Africa. And here in 2023, Jordie Barrett's missed penalty and a try from Aaron Smith that was overturned. So that's why 15-12, then 12-11. That is the margin of victory by which New Zealand have lost in the 2 finals. 3 others they have won. 2 of them quite convincingly. One was a real thriller in 2011 at Eden Park. 1. Remarkably, the victory margin of South Africa in the quarterfinal, semi-final and the final. They beat France in the quarterfinal, they beat England in the semi-final, and they have beaten New Zealand. 1 point. Every single time the Springboks have managed to bounce back and held firm, and that's why their mental toughness played a big role in ensuring that they got over New Zealand in what was a grand final. And this is only the 2nd time in history that the final has been decided by 1 point. 8-7 was the victory margin that New Zealand had against France in Auckland 2011. So the victory margins in a final are very, very slim. 2023 and now 2011. Congratulations to the Springboks who have charted and created a unique sporting milestone. They now are the greatest team in rugby, taking over the mantle from New Zealand, who had dominated for close to 100 years. Now the Springbok era has begun, and truly we are in for some very interesting times in rugby. As far as New Zealand is concerned, they'll have to dig deep, because yet another loss in a final to their ultimate sporting enemy, ultimate sporting rival, is something that they'll have to really introspect. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.